Good morning, Mom. Good morning, everyone watching this video. I am Rihanna Carmen Ruth with my co-reporter Shin Amurkwanan, and we will be discussing about the applications of recombinant DNA technology. Recombinant DNA technology today is a powerful and essential tool in research and development. The applications sa kanina technology cover a wide range from the production of life-saving to the development of genetically modified crops. So the various approaches transform each individual approaches that undertook in healthcare, agriculture, and environment management. By genetic engineering, scientists is makakreate sila ng mga new organisms with better properties or maka-introduce ng mga new qualities. So throughout this report, this will look into the specific applications of recombinant DNA technology and how this technology has affected various sectors and its future innovative technologies. So now let's explore the impact of recombinant DNA technology in science and medicine, including key processes and products. So the transformative impact ng recombinant DNA technology, which also known as genetic engineering. So in the fields of science and medicine, that has revolutionized our understanding with this recombinant DNA, understanding of life, and open up unprecedented possibilities in various sectors. So the following na ako I-discuss is now the key processes and products of the applications of recombinant DNA technology. So next we have the medical applications of recombinant DNA. So now let's delve into the significant impact of recombinant DNA technology, specifically within the world of medicine. So kini na topic or kini na part is nag-highlight siya kung unsa ka-advance ang biotechnology in kung unsa siya ka-advance ang biotechnology in transforming healthcare through several key applications, which is first, ang monoclonal antibodies. So let me read to you the text. So this technology allows the creation of monoclonal antibodies, which are crucial for targeted therapies in diseases like cancer, providing personalized treatment options. So one notable application is the creation of the monoclonal antibodies. So recombinant DNA techniques is nag-allow sa atua to engineer these highly specific antibodies that nag-target ng mga diseases cells such as cancer cells. So kini nag-personalize ng mga approach to treatment which nag-offers ng mga powerful weapon in the fight against various diseases. So next, we have the production of therapeutic proteins. So recombinant DNA technology enables the synthesis of vital proteins such as insulin, which is essential for diabetes management, and growth hormones that aid in treating growth deficiencies. So furthermore, recombinant DNA technology enables ng mga large scales production of vital therapeutic proteins. So for instance, ang insulin is which is a cornerstone in diabetes management can now be synthesized using these techniques. So similarly, recombinant DNA technology nag-facilitates ng mga production of growth hormones, which is crucial for threatening growth deficiencies. So third, we have the impact on disease treatment. Therapeutic proteins derived from recombinant DNA plays an essential role in managing various diseases, improving patient care, and enhancing treatment outcomes significantly. So the availability of these therapeutic proteins is derived siya from recombinant DNA that has a revolutionized disease treatment. So they play a pivotal role in managing wide spectrum of diseases, leading to improved patient care and significantly enhancing treatment outcomes. So recombinant DNA technology has emerged as a cornerstone of modern medicine especially sa karon ng mga panahon, by enabling the creation of monoclonal antibodies and the production of therapeutic proteins, which it offers innovative solutions for tackling complex disease and improving human health. So next slide, we have the recombinant DNA in agriculture. So kanina part is kinidiri na slide is nag-highlight siya kung unsa ka-advance, like what I said, pero sa kanina part, unsa ka-advance ang biotechnology in enhancing crop resilience and yield through genetic engineering. So first, we have the development of GMOs. So recombinant DNA technology facilitates the creation of genetically modified organism. GMOs is stands for genetically modified organisms that possesses enhanced traits, which is crucial for modern agriculture. So the foundation of this agriculture revolution lies in the development of genetically modified organism, as what I said earlier, or the GMOs. So recombinant DNA technology is nag-allow siya sa mga scientists para manipulate nila precisely ang mga genetic makeup of plants, introducing new traits or enhancing existing ones. So next, second, we have the resistance to pests. So crop development through recombinant DNA are engineered to resist pests, reducing the need for chemical pesticides and promoting sustainable farming. So one key application in recombinant energy is the development of the crops resistance sa mga pests or sa kanang mga like peste gani sa mga like sa farming. So by introducing genes from other organisms such as bacteria or insects o katoto mga peste na ako gi-mention, scientists can engineer crops that naturally repel or resist pests. So this reduces the reliance promoting sustainable farming practices. So third, we have the resistance to diseases. Genetically modified crops can be made resistant to various diseases, which helps in maintaining food security and reducing crop losses. So Similarly, no, recombinant DNA technology is nag-enable ng mga creation pod ng crops resistant to various diseases. Dili lang siya kung sa mga peste, kundi apel po siya sa mga diseases. So this genetic modification enhances plant health also, leading to higher yields and reduced crop losses, thereby ensuring stable food supply. So fourth, we have the adaptation to harsh condition. This technology allows crops to withstand extreme environmental conditions such as drought or tagtuyot, salinity, and temperature fluctuations, ensuring stable production. So, furthermore, kinina technology is nag-allow ng mga crops para ma-adapt ang mga harsh environmental conditions or kanang mga panahon nato, like naamay times na kanina types of species is dili makasurvive ani na weather. So by introducing genes that confer drought tolerance, salinity resistance, or cold hardiness, scientists can enable crops to thrive in challenging environments, expanding agriculture frontiers. So next, we have the improvement of crop yields. So by enhancing the resilience and growth characteristics of crops, recombinant DNA technology significantly boosts overall crop yields, contributing to food supply sustainability. So, finally, recombinant DNA technology nag-play siya ng crucial role in improving overall crop yields. So, by enhancing the growth and resilience and characteristics of crops. So, kini na technology is grabe siya ka-importante in boosting food production, which nag-contribute sa globally food security and sustainability. So recombinant DNA technology is nag-emerge as a powerful tool for revolutionizing agriculture. So by creating genetically modified crops with enhanced traits, it addresses critical challenges such as resistance to pests, resistance to diseases, adaptation to harsh conditions, and improvement of crop yields. And which this technology holds an immense potential for ensuring food security, promoting sustainability farming practices, and addressing the growing global demand food. So next slide, we have the industrial applications of recombinant DNA. So now in this slide, let's explore the role of recombinant DNA in modern industries. So first, we have the enzyme production. Recombinant DNA technology is vital in producing enzymes used across various industrial sectors, enhancing efficiency and effectiveness. So, one more major application is the enzyme production of enzymes. So, recombinant DNA technology is nag-allow ng mga large-scale and cost-effective product of enzymes with specific properties. So, kini na enzymes are used across various industries, which nag-enhance sa mga efficiency and effectiveness in processes ranging from food processing to biofuel production. So next, we have the detergent industry. The technology allows for the creation of specific enzymes that break down stains, leading to more effective cleaning products. So, sa kini na industry, ang recombinant DNA is nag-derive siya from enzymes which play a crucial role. So, kini na enzymes are specifically is gi-design jud siya to break down the various stains, leading to more effective and environmentally friendly cleaning products. So this is not only this is not only improves cleaning process performance, but also reduces the environmental effects impact of detergent. So next, you have the food processing. In food processing, recombinant DNA-derived enzymes improve the texture and flavor of products while optimizing production processes. So ang recombinant DNA technology also nag-revolutionize po siya sa food processing. So enzymes derived from recombinant DNA technology are used to improve the texture, flavor, and any other nutritional values of food products. So they are also used to optimize the production processes, making them more efficient and sustainable. So ang recombinant DNA budget diri part sa kinina slide is become an indispensable tool for modern industry, sa mga industriya sa kini na mga na-mention na mga applications, by enabling the production of enzymes with specific properties of which nag-optimize sa industrial processes, which derives innovation, enhanced efficiency, and promotes sustainability across various sectors. As what I said earlier, sa ganito. So now here's some specific examples of products that have been developed using recombinant DNA technology. So first, we have the recombinant vaccine. So let me read to you the text. The vaccines are engineered using recombinant DNA technology to produce antigens that stimulate an immune response, providing protection against various diseases. So this vaccine are engineered as ato nabatian gaina using recombinant DNA technology to produce specific antigens. So when introduced into the body, these antigens matrigger nila ang immune response, which providing protection against various diseases. So this technology revolutionized vaccine development, leading to safer and more effective vaccine against a wide range of infectious diseases. So next, we have the biofuels. Recombinant DNA is utilized to enhance the production of biofuels, making the process more efficient by optimizing microbial stains for energy production for biomass. So Recombinant DNA also utilized sa baya to enhance the production of biofuels. So, scientists, as ako tag-research, scientists are using genetic engineering techniques to optimize microbial stains, making them more efficient at converting biomass into biofuels. So, kini na approach is nag-hold siya, this holds the potential to create more sustainable and environmentally friendly alternative to fossil fuels. So, next, we have the biodegradable plastics. So, from the name of it, naana tayo idea what's this about. So, biodegradable plastics created from recombinant DNA technology offer environmentally friendly alternatives to conventional plastics, with reducing pollution and waste. So, finally, sa dali na part, recombinant DNA is used to create biodegradable plastics. So, grabe ka hamok ang grabe ka hamok characteristic in recombinant DNA. So, these plastics are designed to break down naturally in the environment, reducing pollution and waste. So, this offers a promising solution to the environmental challenges posed by the traditional non-biodegradable plastics. So, sa kining na part, ang DNA technology is nag-enable the creation of as what I said na wide range of innovative products that are transforming various sectors, from vaccine that protects against diseases, to biofuels that offer a sustainable energy source, and biodegradable plastics that reduce environmental impact. So, kini na mga example is nag-demonstrate sa immense potential of sa kanina technology to address global challenges o para ma-improve ang quality of life. So, next slide, we have the recombinant vaccines, the innovative approaches to vaccine development. So, what is recombinant vaccine? So, recombinant vaccines are vaccines produced using recombinant DNA technology, which allows for the precise insertion of specific genes into host cell, such as yeast or bacteria. So, a prominent example of a recombinant vaccine is the hepatitis B vaccine, which effectively prevents the virus transmission, so which has significantly reduced the risk of hepatitis B transmission worldwide. So, amo ganito ako balik. So, for the benefits, these vaccines offer improved safety and efficacy compared to traditional vaccines, as they do not use live pathogens, reducing the risk of infection, which is so. Additionally, sa part, vaccines often demonstrate higher efficiency and can be easily scaled up for mass production. So, next slide. Now, dyan na ta sa recombinant insulin production. So, throughout this part, let's explore the role of recombinant DNA technology and medical products in the world of medical. So we have the monoclonal antibodies. So before we proceed, recombinant DNA technology enables to produce human insulin in bacteria. So this breakthrough involved isolating the human insulin gene and in inserting it into the DNA of a bacterium such as E. coli. So the bacteria then act as tiny factories producing large quantities of pure human insulin. So recombinant insulin is nag-offer siya ng mga several advantages over insulin which derive from animals. It is identical to human insulin, minimizing the risk of allergic reactions. So it is also produced in large quantities, ensuring consistent availability of affordability. So furthermore, recombinant insulin production is more ethical as it eliminates the need to harvest animal organs. So next, in this part is nag-highlight po siya ng mga rule of monoclonal antibodies in both diagnostics and therapeutic innovations. So first, produced through recombinant DNA technology, we have the production. So monoclonal antibodies are engineered using recombinant DNA techniques, allowing for the creation of highly specific antibodies tailored to target specific antigens. So monoclonal antibodies are produced through recombinant DNA techniques. So this involves engineering specific genes to create highly specific antibodies that targeted specific antigens. So next we have the use in diagnostic. These antibodies play a crucial role in diagnostic tests, enabling the detection of diseases through specific antigen-antibody interactions, enhancing early diagnosis. So, kinina antigens is nag-play siya ng crucial role in diagnostic test by binding to the specific antigens. Ilatag enable ang detection sa mga sakit, enhancing early diagnosis and enabling timely intervention. So next, we have the therapeutic agents against cancer. So monoclonal antibodies are employed as targeted therapies in oncology, providing effective treatment options by specifically attacking cancer cells while minimizing damage to normal cells. So, in autoimmune disease, autoimmune ba? Autoimmune. So, in autoimmune disease, monoclonal antibodies can modulate the immune responses by targeting specific components of the immune system that are overactive. So this offers relief by damping the excessive immune responses that causes these conditions. So next, we have the therapeutic agents against autoimmune disease. Baliktad. That was the explanation for the therapeutic agents against autoimmune diseases. Nalibog ko. In autoimmune conditions, monoclonal antibodies can modulate the immune responses, offering relief by targeting specific components of immune system that are overactive. So, amo to ako taglang kaina, which is para dapat sa therapeutic against agents against autoimmune disease. Pero nabasa na ako siya sa therapeutic agents against cancer. So, now let's tackle about the therapeutic agents against cancer. So, monoclonal antibodies are employed as targeted therapies in oncology, providing effective treatment options by specifically attacking cancer cells while minimizing damage to normal cells. So, monoclonal antibodies are employed as targeted therapies in oncology, as what I read. So, they specifically attack cancer. They specifically attack cancer cells while minimizing, while ilatag minimize ang mga damage nga nahatag niya sa mga normal cells, offering a more precise and effective treatment approach. So, next slide, we have the steps in PCR. Now let's understand the polymerase chain reaction. So, but first, let us know what is PCR. So, the definition of PCR, polymerase chain reaction, or mauto ang PCR, is a molecular biology technique used to exponentially amplify a specific DNA segment. So, PCR is a laboratory technique used to amplify specific segment of DNA, which is it is essentially makes millions of copies of a particularly DNA sequence, allowing for detailed analysis and study. So now let us know the purpose of PCR. Oh my God, yung purpose ng PCR, nagpahago-hago man ni sa ato life. So explain diri. So the primary purpose of PCR is to create millions of copies of a targeted DNA sequence, facilitating easier analysis and study. So the primary purpose kuno ng PCR is to create millions of copies of a targeted DNA sequence. This amplification is crucial for various applications in research, forensics, and medicine. So next, we have the importance of DNA amplification. Amplifying DNA segments is crucial in various fields, including genetic research, forensics, and medical diagnostics, enabling detailed genetic studies. So, amplifying DNA segments is essential in fields like genetic research, forensics, and medical diagnostics. Kay nag-enable siya sa mga detailed genetic studies such as identifying genetic genetic variations associated with mga sakit, which nag-analyze ng mga data as evidence in criminal investigations and detecting pathogens in clinical settings. Or I think sa kanilang na ay crime scene, and then kailangan nila maghanap ng mga left out ng suspect so that ilang ma-identify kung kinsa ang suspect. So next, we have the applications of PCR. So PCR is widely used in research for cloning, gene expression analysis, and in clinical settings for pathogen detection and genetic disorder diagnosis. So, PCR has a wide range of application, no, according sa slide. It is widely used sa puno in research for cloning genes, analyzing gene expression, and studying genetic variation. So, in clinical settings, ang PCR kuno is used for pathogen detection, such as diagnosing infectious diseases and for genetic disorder diagnosis. Pero wala man ta sa medical world, so medyo dili na to ma-describe what really it is. Pero that's my explanation according to the text shown here, according sa among na research. So next, we have the PCR step 1, the denaturation, which is the crucial initial phase of PCR. So number 1, we have the number 1 for step 1, we have the process heating DNA. The process begins by heating the DNA sample to a temperature typically around 94 to 98 degrees Celsius. So this high temperature is essential for disrupting the hydrogen bonds that hold the double-stranded DNA together. So kini na process ko is begins by heating the DNA sample to a high temperature, which according to here typically around 94 to 98 degrees Celsius. This intense heat is essential for disrupting the hydrogen puno that hold the double-stranded DNA molecule together. So next, the separation of strand. So as the temperature increases, so the double-stranded DNA helix unwinds and separates into 2 single strands. So this separation is critical as it allows access to the genetic material for reflection, or it exposes the individual DNA strands allowing access to the genetic material for the next stage of PCR. Next, we have the creation of single-stranded templates. So the outcome of this denaturation step is the formation of single-stranded DNA templates. So this kini na single strand will serve as templates for the synthesis of DNA, of the new DNA strands and the subsequent steps of PCR process. So next slide, the step 2, which is the annealing. So now let's understand the crucial role of primer binding in DNA synthesis. So primers bind to single-stranded DNA templates. So during the annealing step, sa kanina step, so the temperature is lower siya to allow the short DNA sequences called primers to bind to their complementary sequences on the single-stranded DNA templates we created in the previous generation. Denaturation step. So next we have this binding marks the starting point for DNA synthesis. So now we have the marking, the starting point of DNA synthesis. I know, binding pata. ensuring accurate binding. So these primers are specifically designed to attach only to the desired targeted DNA sequence, ensuring the amplification process is accurate and targets the intended region of the DNA. So the binding of the primers to the single-stranded So the binding of the primers to the single-stranded templates marks the starting point for the next stage of PCR, which is DNA synthesis. So these primers act as a guide for the DNA polymerase enzyme, indicating where to begin adding new nucleotides to create complementary DNA strands. So next is the step 3, which is the extension. Now let us know the crucial phase of DNA strand synthesis and PCR. So first, we have the DNA polymerase action sa kanina step. So in the extension phase, the enzyme DNA polymerase takes center stage, and this enzyme is binds to the primers attached to the single-stranded DNA templates and begins adding new nucleotides to growing DNA strand. So second, we have the nucleotide addition. So during this phase, ang nucleotides are sequentially added to the third end of each primer, extending the DNA strand complementary to the template. So this process continues until the DNA polymerase reaches the end of the template strand, creating complete copy of the DNA segment. So third, we have the temperature and timing. The extension step typically occurs at the temperature optimal DNA for polymerase activity around 72 degrees Celsius, allowing for efficient DNA synthesis. So next, we have the importance of extension. So this extension step is vital for producing sufficient quantity of DNA for subsequent analysis of applications. Ensuring the accuracy of this step is crucial for the overall success of PCR process. So in conclusion, since this is my last part of this topic, so the extension phase is the final step in the PCR cycle, where DNA polymerase synthesizes new DNA strands, creating millions of copies, as what I said earlier, of the targeted DNA sequence. This amplification is essentially for various applications in research, diagnostics, and forensics, as what I said also earlier. So that's the end of my part, and the continuation of the report will be reported by my partner Sheen Amor Juanan.